back to my channel. This is WireDogSec back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we're going to take a look at the cyber attacks that have been targeting schools, mainly K-12 schools, public school systems, etc., etc. Before we get into it, if you're new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button with the notification bell so you know every time I post. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the video, content, information. Hit the share button to share it with your family and friends if you found it educational, moving, all that good stuff. And comment below your thoughts and opinions. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, I just did a quick Google search for school cyber attacks 2024. As you can see here, there's a plethora of news articles, information that comes up. And as you can see, there's probably a huge problem when it comes to schools and cyber attacks. I mean, let's just go ahead and check on the more news section here. It says schools don't have great cybersecurity and hackers have caught on. New Jersey hit by cyber attacks on schools, hospitals. What cybersecurity threats does the education sector face, etc., etc. Now, I did have some videos on my channel about the Los Angeles school district that was a victim of, I believe, ransomware attacks, I believe 1 or 2 years ago. So be sure to check those out if you're interested. But public schools, K through 12 schools are notoriously bad when it comes to cybersecurity. Well, you might wonder, why is that? Well, it could be a number of things. I think mainly it's due to lack of funding. A lot of these public school systems don't have the appropriate funds to support their cybersecurity initiatives. Maybe they don't have enough funding to support a dedicated cybersecurity team or even a dedicated cybersecurity person to help secure their systems and improve things around there. And attackers know this. They know a lot of these schools are underfunded when it comes to cybersecurity defenses, and makes those school systems an easy or soft target. Well, if you're an attacker, guess what? You're going to go after the low-hanging fruit, right? Go after the path of least resistance. And guess what? School systems have a lot of information, a lot of data from their students, all right? A lot of PII is going to be in their systems. A lot of maybe like HIPAA data is going to be in their systems. Maybe even some financial information is going to be in their systems. So there's a plethora of information on these students, and in turn, cyber criminals can steal this information and then misuse it to conduct malicious activities like fraud, identity theft, etc., etc. Now let's just go ahead. I already have some articles pulled open, so I'm just going to tab into those real quick. So we're going to take a look at some of these here. Not going to read it all the way through. Just going to skim over some of it here. This one's from the Record, Recorded News. It says DC area school system says data of 100,000 people affected in ransomware attack. A school district in the Washington, D.C. suburbs says the personal information of nearly 100,000 people was breached by a ransomware gang right before classes started in the fall. Prince George's County Public Schools, PGCPS, finished its review of the incident earlier this year, according to a February 16 regulatory filing, and determined that personal information was included in the potentially impacted dataset. What a surprise. What did I just say? The ransomware attack, discovered August 14 last year and publicly reported soon afterward, resulted in a network outage of the Maryland district, which serves about 130,000 students. Says the information present in the files that may have been viewed or acquired as a result of this incident varies per person and includes individuals' names, financial account information, and social security numbers. Now, didn't I just say that they gather all this information about students, and attackers can use this information to conduct fraudulent activity like identity theft, right? So, I mean, sometimes maybe these students will already have something against like their credit report or something like that. Their identity might be ruined before they even get out of, grade school due to attacks such as this. But let's go ahead and continue on to the next article. And let's see here. This one's from Dark Reading. It says New Jersey School District shut down by cyber attack Sunday night. Freehold Township District officials notified its staff and parents that school will not be in session Monday due to technical difficulties caused by a cyber. January 28th, the Freehold Township School District informed its staff, families, and students that its schools and offices would be closed today due to a cybersecurity incident. School officials said that because of the incident, the district located in Freehold, New Jersey, was experiencing technical difficulties and that it's working with third-party cybersecurity experts to address the issue. District assistant superintendent apologized on X account, yada yada yada. There's an ongoing investigation. President of the Freehold Township Board of Education said this morning we'll certainly make an announcement about it today's Tuesday's schedule when it comes or when the time comes. There's people working on it throughout the day. No additional information regarding the nature of the attack has been released. I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be a ransomware attack or something similar to that. I mean, if it took down the school district's network, said they have technical difficulties, right? So it sounds like ransomware to me. And I remember back in my day that we didn't have anything like this. We had snow days, right? Maybe like tornado days, stuff like that. But nowadays we got ransomware days, apparently. Shut down the school systems. You know what I mean? School students can't conduct their education activities due to the systems being down. I mean, it'd be pretty hard to actually look at stuff on, I guess, the smart board or whatever if it's not working properly. It's not connected to the servers or what have you. All right, let's go to the next article here. Freehold Township is closed to cyber attack. I believe that was the one we just covered in the other article here. See if this has any more information. School board members had little information beyond what the district said, and they didn't know how long the district would be closed. Ongoing investigation. So this one doesn't look like it has very much other information than the other article. 3,500 students, yada yada yada. Cyber attacks. Attackers try to gain access to information, make account numbers, social security numbers, credit card numbers that is kept on organizations' computer systems, essentially by stealing money, accounts by collecting a ransom, yada yada yada. These attacks aren't uncommon. 600,000 customers. Their information might have been compromised because of a cyber attack. Wow. Let's see here. Schools under attack. Educational and research institutions were the most targeted industry in 2022, with nearly 2,300 attacks each week, according to a report by Checkpoint, a technology company. Another report by technology company Sophos found 80% of lower education providers had cyber attacks in 2023, up from 44% 2 years earlier. Nearly all of these schools regained their data, in part because 73% reported they had backups, but 47% also said they paid a ransom. And that's another thing. Like I said, maybe they don't have dedicated cybersecurity personnel to improve their defenses and whatnot, like backups. That's like something that's cybersecurity best practices. I mean, IT best practices, honestly, to have backups of your data, of your systems, in case something like this happens, or maybe some other type of critical system failure happens. You want to have those backups available to restore your systems, right? Now, fortunately for these 73%, they had backups available, but these other 47% said they paid ransom, which is bad because you're funding the attackers, and that's contributing to them conducting even more attacks. Says students are spending more time online than ever before using technology to complete homework, communicate with peers, and engage with teachers and school staff. The agency said, as we become more dependent on technology, cybercriminals are becoming more advanced in evolving their cyber attacks techniques, and they will continue to target universities and school districts as many of them do not have adequate resources, funding, or staffing to properly protect and defend their networks. Now, did not just say that. They don't have, a lot of times, they don't have dedicated cybersecurity personnel, or maybe they don't even have funding to train their employees on security awareness and education. So now you may have people operating on computers that don't know how to identify a phishing email or don't know how to properly report a suspicious email to the appropriate people. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on to the next one here. See what we got. And reject all these cookies. It says cyber attack takes Francis Howell schools uh, offline. A Missouri school district northwest of St. Louis moved to remote learning on Tuesday and Wednesday after unexpected activity disrupted the district's network. The district is without internet for the rest of the week. That's insane. Took out the entire internet apparently. All right, it says disrupted the school's computer system. Superintendent Kenneth Rampos said in a message to the district's community Wednesday. All Francis Howell schools moved to remote learning on Tuesday and Wednesday after the district and or said unexpected activity caused problems with the district's network. Law enforcement has been notified after malware was used to encrypt certain systems. Students will return to school on Thursday, but they will not have access or internet access for at least the rest of the week. Notified federal law enforcement and engaged third-party computer specialists to investigate the source of the attack and confirm any impact on our systems and information. Since FBI does not confirm or deny the existence of an investigation, will not confirm if a report had been received. A district spokesman said that they did not have any information to share about the attack other than that or what was in Rumpos' message. So the past 2 days, district staff has checked on safety systems such as key fobs, building intercoms, exterior door intercoms, fire alarms, HVAC systems, and more. Yada yada yada. Instructional purposes for at least the remainder of the week. We are confident that we will have the appropriate workarounds in place to keep our buildings secure. That's another thing. Some of these systems might be connected to other IT systems as well, right? You got all these smart devices nowadays, and if some critical server goes down, it could take out maybe some of these systems here. So that's another thing to consider. But let's continue on. Like I said, these cyber threat actors, ransomware operators like to target these school systems because they don't have the appropriate resources available many times to properly secure their environment, thus making them an easy target, aka a cash cow for these cyber threat actors. All right, this one is from Education Week. A new federal task force targets cybersecurity in schools. This is from March 28th, which is today. Awesome. The U.S. Department of Education has launched a council to help K-12 schools strengthen their cybersecurity practices, the agency announced on March 28. The government coordinating council, which includes representatives from federal agencies, state education departments, education technology leaders, yada yada, responsible for hosting cybersecurity training activities, recommended policies, and communicating best practices to help schools respond and recover from cybersecurity threats and attacks, according to the department. See, this is what I would like to do. I've actually emailed a couple of the local school districts around here to try to help them with their environment. Maybe they don't have a cybersecurity person or whatever, but I want to volunteer my time to help better secure their environment. I don't want them to end up on the 9 o'clock news or whatever saying, hey, this school district was a victim of a ransomware attack, or 100,000 students data was stolen due to this and that. But let's continue on. It says the council is part of a federal response to K-12 school cybersecurity challenges. Schools have become the leading target for cyber criminals. What a surprise. And for years, education organizations have advocated additional federal resources to help schools boost their network security. Cyber attacks are costly, not just financially, but also academically. The loss of learning time after cyber attack has ranged from 3 days to 3 weeks, and recovery time from attack can take anywhere from 2 to 9 months, according to a 2022 Government Accountability Office report. School districts have also lost between 50,000 and 1 million per cyber attack, the report found. And that's right. Like if you get hit with ransomware, it takes time, it takes money to recover from such attack, right? These third parties coming in to do the, forensics work and recovery stuff like that is not cheap. It's very expensive. Small, oh gosh, small, rural, and even medium-sized and large districts are struggling with being understaffed and not having the expertise to handle cybersecurity. And I've already stated that before. Understaffed, don't have the resources, yada yada yada, said Keith Kruger, a member of the council and the CEO of the nonprofit Consortium for School Networking, a member organization for district education technology leaders. There are many opportunities for the federal government to provide value, but it can be overwhelming. No one has the time to look into every federal agency that could potentially help. And this could also be a learning experience for you guys if you have some experience in cybersecurity, or maybe you just want to volunteer your services. Hey, reach out to maybe your local school district. Say, hey, maybe I can help you guys improve your cybersecurity around here, so you're not ending up on the 9 o'clock news. Says Noel Ellerson, I guess NG, the Associate Executive Director of Advocacy and Governance for AASA, this is the School Superintendents Association, said it's a great sign that schools are at the table as part of the conversation on a broader cybersecurity approach. This is nominate two superintendents to serve on the council, yada yada yada. Number one thing I'd be looking for is a substantive conversation where it's not just providing a forum for feedback, but actually making the feedback actionable. Along with COSN and AASA, other educational groups on the council include state, yada yada yada. The council hosted its inaugural meeting on March 28th. This is really the beginning. This is like a giant steamship. It takes a while to turn the wheels, but we already see quite a difference. A year or two or three ago, there was very little focus on cybersecurity resources for K-12, which is this is great news. Hopefully, we'll see this come into fruition. I'd like to see more and more of this come out and help these schools out so we can see less and less of these attacks targeting school systems. Now let's continue on to the next one here. This one's from Malwarebytes Labs. This is a blog from them. It says 2024 State of Ransomware in Education, 92% spike in K-12 attacks. This article is based on research by Malwarebytes, yada yada yada. In this report, known attacks are those the victims did not pay ransom. This provides the best overall picture of ransomware activity, but the true number of attacks is far higher. 2023 was the worst ransomware year on record for education, according to um, original threat down research. The sector witnessed a staggering 70% surge in attacks in the past year, increasing from 129 incidents in 2022 to 265 in 2023. Holy crap, that's a lot. They have the little fancy chart here, and as you can see, the mass increase. June 2023 was just went hog wild. I mean, look at this. Wow. Since the spike is further underscored by the increase in median monthly attacks in 2022, there was an average of 11 attacks per month, but by 2023, this number leaped to 21, marking a 91% uptick in monthly attacks. And you can see that here in this fancy chart down above or down here. Although attacks were carried out by several ransomware groups, two in particular were responsible for the lion's share of 2023 attacks. 50% Lockbit and Residia, rebrand of Vice Society. Lockbit is, I mean, I'm sure everyone has heard about Lockbit these days if you've been paying attention to cybersecurity news. All right, just gonna skip through some of this here. Threat landscape. The top gangs that targeted the education sector between January 2023 and December 2023: Lockbit, Vice Society, Clop, Medusa, and Akira. Together, these five gangs were responsible for about 81% of all education ransomware attacks. And you can see there, Lockbit is there at the top. Scrolling on down. When we look at which gangs attack educational institutions most consistently with attacks in at least 6 different months, however, the data tells a slightly different story. While top gangs such as Clop and Royal may have targeted a significant amount of educational institutions, they tend to attack a majority of the victims in just 1 or 2 months. Again, Lockbit and Vice Society emerge as the most consistently prolific attackers against the education sector. Notice too that Vice Society hasn't been active since June 2023. The same month we witnessed the rise of Reseda. All right, continue on here. Geographic distribution here. Of course, the United States is going to have the most, as usual. Continue on here. K-12 versus higher ed. 2023, 43% of all ransomware and education attacks in 2023 target higher ed, and 36% of attacks target K-12. And they highlight some items here. Western Michigan University, which caused a 13-day service disruption, and against the Minneapolis School District, which resulted in 300,000 files leaked and a $1 million ransom. Wow. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. K-12 trends year over year. All right, I'm just going to scroll through the rest of here. I'll have the links to all these articles if you want to take a deeper look into these. See, looking ahead, the reality is that tight budgets of many educational institutions force them to struggle with outdated equipment and limited staff, making education an easy target for ransomware groups. Now, didn't I say this plenty of times? All right, it comes down to funding. They don't have the funding available many times to support their cybersecurity initiatives. You can see the rest of the stats here. I'm not going to read the rest of that, and that wraps up this one. So let's continue on to the next one. And this one's basically just an infographic from CIS here. Um, you can go ahead and read through this. It's just going to highlight some items here. What are K-12 organizations scoring highest on in cybersecurity? Identity management, access control, awareness and training, maintenance. What are the top 5 security concerns of K-12 organizations? let's see, K-12 organizations continue to contend with the challenges of limited technical staff and financial resources for cybersecurity measures. Lack of sufficient funding, 81%. Increasing sophistication of threats, lack of documented processes, lack of cybersecurity strategy, inadequate availability of cybersecurity professionals. Right now, this already, like I said, we've been seeing a trend here, right? A trend of lack of funding, lack of cybersecurity personnel, stuff like that. It says how do K-12 staff recover for cybersecurity recovery, planning, reporting. I'm going to scroll through here. K-12 school district staffing. 90% of K-12 schools stated that they have less than 5 employees with security-related duties. K-12 district and security framework usage. 68%. K-12 districts stated that they use a security framework such as CIS or the NIST framework. Response and recovery plan. 23% responded not performed. For the assessment question, specific to having incident response plans and recovery. Well, of course, I mean, if they don't have the staff to do this, how they're going to do the practice or do even tabletop exercises? Um, believe that's it for this infographic. So let's head on to the next one here. This one is from State Scoop. Education Department launches council, which we've already covered this in the other article here. Um, this pretty much says the same information. I mean, let's see, anything new here? Let's see. One of these 16 critical infrastructure sectors in the United States, education sector, of course. All right, so this is basically just saying the same thing as the other article did about they started up this the cybersecurity initiative council. So let's go ahead and skip to the next one. So the consequences for schools and students after cyber attack. This is from Security Boulevard. Schools are under a significant assault from cyber criminals, and the consequences of even one successful breach can haunt schools and students for years. Talking about the school in Baltimore and Maryland officer inspector for education tackles due to third-party operator error. After a staff member received a suspicious Excel spreadsheet and email, that person was unable to access it. They sent it to a contractor who could. Contractor opened it up, basically affected their system and caused a big incident to occur. Says the fallout included lost days of school, roughly a year to fully restore the networks, and in total over $9.6 million to fully recover, which included network upgrades and migrations to a new platform. Wow. See, and this is the one I was talking about earlier, the Los Angeles Unified School District back in 2022, right? They got completely owned. I mean, it was just crazy. As schools become more reliant on technology for remote learning and administrative functions, they are also prime targets for cyber criminals seeking to exploit vulnerabilities and disrupt operations. But the consequences extend far beyond the cost to a school or even a district. Students are also shouldering some of the burden from a cyber attack, the ramification of which could follow them for years. Why malware attacks are targeting schools, identity theft, didn't I say that earlier? Right? Can have a lasting effect on students, but why are ransomware attacks, phishing, and malicious software so focused on student profiles? For one thing, younger people are easier to target, while adults, employees are more familiar with cyber risk and hopefully receive regular training, how to take the appropriate security measures to prevent attacks. Kids might not notice right away when someone's trying to steal data. On the other hand, though, kids' information can be equally, if not more valuable to attackers. Right? Exactly. I mean, because they have a clean slate most of the time. I mean, that's prime real estate there for identity theft. Understanding cyber attacks, the value of student data. Most behind hacking student data range from financial gain to espionage and sabotage. Student data can, for instance, be valuable in dark web where it can be sold to identity thieves or used in various fraudulent activities. Some information, such as social security numbers and birth dates, can also be used to steal identities, apply for loans or credit cards, or commit other forms of fraud. And since kids aren't regularly tracking their credit, criminals can apply for loans and generate huge amounts of debts in a minor's name before anyone learns about it. Now, didn't I say that earlier near the beginning of this video? I said something about um, these kids pretty much like credit can be ruined before they even get out of school, out of grade school. So cybercriminals may seek to disrupt school operations by deleting, altering student records too, causing chaos and reputational damage to educational institutions, or they may encrypt student data and demand a ransom for the release, disrupting school operations and extorting money from educational institutions for political, economic, or any other purpose. To think of student data as exam grades, however, there's much more sensitive information contained in these records. Example, kids' birth date, allergies, social security number, history of drug use, or even home income. And this is basically just highlights the impact of school data breach, identity theft, emotional distress, stigmatization, sorry, stigmatization, academic impact, loss of trust, cyberbullying, harassment, family stress, and it says in a way, cybercriminals preying on student data and exploiting the private information of minors it could accurately be labeled child abusers because that's exactly what they're doing. One step beyond students are the impacts to the school and district, for example, financial loss, reputational damage, legal consequences, disruption of operations, loss of intellectual property, preventing school cyber attacks. Little doubt preventing cyber attacks is crucial for safeguarding sensitive data and maintaining trust of students, parents, staff. The question is, how can these organizations ensure uninterrupted learning? Talks about provide cybersecurity awareness training to teach or students, teachers, and administrative staff. For example, teaching them how to recognize phishing emails, avoid clicking on suspicious links, and report any suspicious activity promptly. Now, I said some of this earlier. Of course, MFA is going to be another big one. Strong passwords, passphrase, using the same. Avoid using the same password across multiple platforms. See, these are cybersecurity best practices that everyone should be doing. Any organization out there, you should be doing these cybersecurity best practices. All right, and pretty much that's it for this one. I believe that's all the articles here. Yes. Now, as you see there was a huge trend in how cyber attacks were targeting educational institutions, mainly K to 12 schools. We saw that it highlighted various different issues: lack of cybersecurity personnel, lack of funding, et cetera, et cetera. And that pretty much wraps this up. Hopefully, that cybersecurity initiative that they're launching will come into fruition, and we'll see some results from that aspect. But anyway, that's the end of this video. Hopefully, you all found this informative. If you did, please consider subscribing. If you're new, hit that notification bell as well. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the content. Comment below your thoughts and opinions. And I will see you guys later.